The trailer doesn't shout. It doesn't explode. It waits. And that's exactly why it's terrifying. Landman Season 3 looks calm on the surface. But underneath, every deal is a threat, every silence is a warning, and every win comes with a price that hasn't been paid yet. Season 3 doesn't begin with chaos. It begins with something far more dangerous: hope. For the first time in a long while, Tommy Norris isn't working for someone else's empire. CTT oil exploration and cattle is real. The papers are signed. The checks have cleared. Cooper sits in the president's chair, young, brilliant, and already carrying more weight than most men twice his age. On the outside, it looks like a victory. But Landman has never been a show about victories that last. Tommy knows this. You can hear it in the way he talks now, slower, more careful. He's not celebrating. He's watching. Because the moment you stop running in the oil business is the moment someone lines up a shot. CTT exists because Galino allowed it to exist, and that alone turns every success into borrowed time. The money that built this company didn't come from belief. It came from leverage. Season 3 leans hard into that tension. Tommy isn't trying to be a hero anymore. He's trying to be a shield. For Cooper. For the crew. For a family that has already paid in blood and fear. The problem is shields crack. And the more CTT grows, the more visible it becomes. Small operators don't stay small for long in West Texas. Either you scale up, or you get swallowed. Cooper's oil instincts, once treated like a miracle, now make him a target. Other players are watching him closely, questioning whether he's a genius or a liability waiting to collapse the whole operation. And Cooper feels it. He's confident, but not careless. He understands that every decision he makes reflects directly on his father, whether he wants it to or not. Season 3 quietly turns Cooper into something new. Not just a son trying to prove himself, but a leader learning how quickly admiration turns into envy. Meanwhile, Tommy's past refuses to stay buried. The industry remembers him. Old rivals don't forget. The name CTT might be new, but the man behind it isn't. And whispers start moving faster than oil through a pipeline. Deals fall apart before they're even announced. Permits take longer. Inspectors show up uninvited. None of it is loud enough to prove sabotage, but all of it feels intentional. Galino remains the shadow in every room. He doesn't push. He doesn't threaten. He simply reminds Tommy, again and again, that success built on his money comes with expectations. The favor hasn't been called in yet. And that's what makes it worse. Because Tommy knows when it comes, it won't be small. Season 3 sets its tone right here. Freedom was real, but it was temporary. The question isn't whether Tommy made the right choice. The question is whether he made it too late. As CTT starts drilling deeper, the pressure shifts from survival to control. Owning the ship was always Tommy's dream, but Season 3 makes it clear that ownership doesn't bring peace. It brings exposure. Every decision now lands directly on his desk. There's no Cammy to fight with, no corporate ladder to hide behind. When something goes wrong, it's his fault. When something goes right, someone else wants a piece of it. Regulators begin circling CTT more aggressively than they ever did in Tex. Audits appear without warning. Environmental complaints stack up, some real, some clearly manufactured. Tommy understands the game immediately. This isn't about safety or compliance. It's about slowing them down until desperation forces a bad deal. And desperation is something the oil business can smell from miles away. Nate, handling finances, sees the numbers tightening. CTT is profitable, but barely. One stalled rig, one lawsuit, one delayed permit, and the whole structure wobbles. Rebecca keeps warning them that independence makes them legally vulnerable. Big companies absorb hits like these all the time. Small companies bleed. And CTT, no matter how ambitious, is still small. Galino's influence starts to feel heavier. He begins asking questions that sound casual but aren't. Questions about future expansion. About offshore opportunities. About partnerships Tommy never planned to touch. Each conversation feels like a test. Refuse too hard, and you risk angering the man who funded your rebirth. Agree too easily, and you lose the very independence you fought for. Cooper struggles most with this reality. He believes in the work, in the oil, in the science beneath the land. But Season 3 challenges his idealism. He starts realizing that talent doesn't protect you from politics. His instincts keep finding oil, but every discovery attracts attention they can't afford. What once felt like a blessing now feels like bait. At home, the emotional cost becomes impossible to ignore. Tommy tries to stay present, but his mind never stops calculating risk. Every late phone call feels like bad news waiting to land. The near-constant tension pulls him back into old habits: distance, silence, control. He loves his family deeply, but fear makes him rigid. And rigidity in this world breaks people. Then comes the first real hit. A deal collapses publicly. Rumors spread fast, painting CTT as unstable. Competitors move in, offering to help Cooper with buyout conversations disguised as mentorship. Tommy shuts it down immediately, but the damage is done. The message is clear. Independence has an expiration date. Season 3 thrives in this slow tightening of the vice. No explosions. No easy villains. Just a system doing what it always does. Testing how long a man can stand alone before he bends, sells, or burns everything down trying not to. By the final stretch of the trailer, Landman Season 3 stops pretending this is about business. This is about consequences. The favors that were postponed. The deals that were delayed. The patience that was never infinite. Galino finally moves, not loudly, not violently, but with precision. A single demand. Perfectly legal. Perfectly timed. And devastating if ignored. Tommy is forced to confront the truth he's been avoiding since the end of Season 2. CTT was never built to escape the system. It was built inside it. And systems don't like exceptions. The choice in front of him isn't between right and wrong anymore. It's between two different kinds of loss. Cooper steps forward in ways Tommy didn't expect. The kid who once followed instincts now learns restraint. He questions deals. Pushes back on expansion. Challenges Galino's logic with calm, uncomfortable clarity. For the first time, Tommy sees his son not as someone to protect, but as someone capable of making decisions that could save them all. That realization is both reassuring and terrifying. Cammie's absence stops feeling permanent. Her shadow returns through industry moves that reshape the board without her ever appearing on screen. The company she controls begins benefiting from the same pressure squeezing CTT, proving her gamble may have worked after all. And that hurts Tommy more than he wants to admit, not because he misses the job, but because he understands the strategy too well. Rebecca becomes the last line of defense. She prepares for battles no one wants to fight. Criminal exposure. Civil liability. Reputation destruction. Season 3 reminds us that in this world, no one truly wins in court, only survives. And survival comes at a personal cost that numbers can't measure. The trailer ends where the show lives best, in uncertainty. Not with collapse. Not with triumph. But with a man standing at the edge of everything he built, finally owning it all. And realizing ownership doesn't mean control. Landman Season 3 isn't about oil. It's about what happens after you get everything you thought you wanted, and discover the price was still rising.